Hello everyone, Ember here, and welcome back to a new video. And in this one, we're going to be taking a look at some Sylveon decks from Japan. And I'm not over-exaggerating when I say that Sylveon might be one of the most annoying Pokemon cards I've ever seen. Like, playing against this is going to be a nightmare. So yeah, not really looking forward to playing against it, but it does look like a very fun card to mess around with, as we'll see from these lists. But yeah, if you're a fan of Sylveon though, definitely a good card I would say. But yeah, as a fair warning though, before we get going, Surging Sparks, which is the set that Sylveon is supposed to be a part of, does happen to be made up of two sets, Paradise Dragona and Supercharged Breaker. However, the volume of content might also mean that Saraluge and Sylveon EX get delayed until the set after, though this is just speculation for now, and testing early is always helping. But basically, it's just because Saraluge, I hate Pokemon names, Saraluge and Sylveon were both decks basically independently in Japan. They weren't actually part of Paradise Dragona. But yeah, just a fair warning in case they get delayed. But as for the new cards, Sylveon itself is a 270 HP Psychic type, Terra type, has 2 attacks, Magical Charm for a Psychic double colorless does 160, and during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon's attacks do 100 less damage, which is quite brutal actually. And you don't really think about it being a massive reduction, but then you think about how Raging Bolt needs what, 4, 5 energy to discard in order to KO you? Well, now they're going to need an extra energy, so it makes things a wee bit more annoying for those sorts of decks. Also, decks like Charizard, which aren't actually throwing out a whole lot of damage in the early game, you can definitely negate them in that sense. So I definitely wouldn't underestimate Magical Charm. Of course, like the main appeal of Sylveon is for Angelite, but don't forget about Magical Charm. It's a very annoying attack. Also does 160, which is a lot of damage. But yeah, Angelite is the main appeal for a Water Lightning Psychic. Says choose 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. They shuffle those Pokemon and all cards attached to them into their deck. If one of your Pokemon, however, used Angelite during your last turn, this attack can't be used. So you definitely can't do multiple Angelites in a row, which kind of sucks, especially with this attack cost. But to be honest, it would be a bit broken to just kind of deplete away your opponent's bench. But still a very, very powerful move and highly annoying and disruptive. To make things a bit easier, though, to get Sylveon into play, we do have a new EV that will allow you to evolve it immediately, as long as EV is active, and this basically just gives EV a lot more durability, really, because, 50 HP just is weak, to say the least, but a very, very strong ability in the form of boosted evolution. And there's also a new item card called Terra Orb coming out that says, search your deck for a Terra Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So you can use this to find Sylveon more consistently as well, if you really wanted to. But yeah, the first list we're going to take a look at here is moderately straightforward, I would say. If you're familiar with Terapagos and Noctowl decks, then I would say this is like a natural progression for you, especially if you're looking to play Sylveon in the future. But still got quite a lot going on. You are juggling 4 different energy types, which me personally, I find that a bit over the top. Like, I guess like being able to attack with Terapagos is really good sometimes, but at the same time, I'm not really sure how worth it is, and you're probably just better off focusing on Sylveon. But still, Terapagos, still a very decent attack. Well, 2 attacks really on Terapagos. So yeah, nice to see that. 4 Trumpet, 2 Area Zero. Like, Area Zero is not that important in this list, just because your main attacker is Sylveon, not Terapagos. So you're not like so focused on Unified Beatdown, really. But still here's a nice option, and of course, Area Zero is still going to be played in a lot of other decks, so there's like not too much pressure, I don't think, in finding your own copy. But seems quite like a good list overall, I would say, and fairly straightforward. The next one is unfortunately a control deck, and I say unfortunately because one, I don't like playing against control. I don't think anyone does really, and two, I don't really know how to play control as well, to be fair. My only expertise in control comes in the form of Durand Mill and Waylord Stall, so yeah, I'm a bit shameless in that sense. I love mill decks, but I don't really love Stall control decks, so I'm going to leave this one up to like the experts, I guess. You can determine if this is a good control list. But if you just want to mess around with a Sylveon control deck and you want to focus on Angelite more or less exclusively, then this would certainly be your deck to go, I guess. And good starting point for a control list focusing around Sylveon. But aside from that, sadly, I can't offer you like too much feedback. It seems very similar to other control decks at the very least, so shouldn't be too difficult to learn. But yeah, a 3-2 split of Eevee and Sylveon. Then we have a Gardevoir variant. So, yeah, this one's kind of mad actually when you think about it, because Gardevoir, of course, is only ever accelerating psychic energy. So, you are sort of more focused on magical charm, but you can still do the second attack, hence the wide variety of energy in this deck. You can also use dark energy as well for Monkey Dory, which might be overkill at that point. I'm not really sure if you really, really need Monkey Dory, but two dark energy, it's in there for that purpose. And all these other basic energy are there for Sylveon. So it's a bit of a crazy list, but at least you get some more draw support from Kolio. So offsetting, running 5 different basic energy in your list is, well, if you prize any of them, then that is going to be a wee bit of a problem. I must say that about this list. Is like, if you prize your lightning or your water, then, RIP and your light, I guess, until you draw them off for prizes. But yeah, it seems like a fun list, nevertheless. You got some Mimikyu and Klefki action in here to stall for a bit if you really need to. But yeah, it just seems crazy, this list. Like, I'm really not sure what to make of it. Radiant Charizard, is that what God of War decks are playing nowadays? Not really what I would have gone for, because it's just an extra basic energy that you have to run at the end of the day. But yeah, it's definitely not my kind of deck. But for those of you who play God of War and I guess want an extended challenge of a deck list to play, then, here you go. The next up is sadly another control deck, and this one is a bit more bonkers. I do think this one is based around more attacking options, really, though, because yes, it is kind of control. We've got stuff like Snorlax and Farigiraf in here, but we've also got Blissey, and Blissey doesn't really strike me as a control Pokemon. I think Blissey is more or less here to conserve energy and allow us to attack with things like Mawile or Bloodmoon Ursaluna, so some fun attacking options there, but also like running a 2-2 line for Pidgeot, which is quite funny. So we've got Pidgeot, Blissey, Sylveon, Farigiraf, Snorlax, Mimikyu, Mawile, Greninja, Bloodmoon Ursaluna, and Rotom V. And then so many one-off trainers. So yeah, it's a very, very crazy control list. Again, control is not my area of expertise, so I can't really vouch for how good this deck is going to be. Also, like a 1-2 split of Sylveon is interesting. I guess that's to like offset the chances of like prizing one or something, but so there is an option. But yeah, certainly a crazy list, that's for sure. But yeah, not really my cup of tea, sadly. But then we have a list that kind of like immediately sprung to my mind, at least when I saw Sylveon, just because the attack cost is so weird. And you are naturally playing Psychic Energy on Sylveon, so it kind of makes sense as well for Lost Zone, or with Sableye and all that. But Cramorant, Sableye, Bloodmoon Ursaluna, and then got some Delibird action there for Gusting. But fairly straightforward list, really. Nothing too crazy in here. I would say Enhanced Hammer is kind of interesting. I wonder if that's in response to the likes of Iron Thorns, maybe, but aside from that, nothing really too crazy. Well, Iron Thorns and Lugia, actually. Lugia is quite popular in Japan, it seems, but yeah, it seems like a fairly solid list overall. This is, I think, maybe the only list that's only playing 3 different basic energy. Is everyone else playing 4? You're playing 3, but you're playing 2 different special energy. This one's playing 5. This one's playing 3 plus a special energy, okay? And this one was playing 4. So yeah, this is actually the most simple in terms of basic energy, which is kind of cool. But yeah, fairly simple Lost Zone build, fairly straightforward. I know some people still hate Lost Zone a lot, but the deck isn't now as popular as it once was, I feel like, so don't really feel justified in bashing it anymore. I think we've beaten that nail over the head one too many times with Sableye and such, but yeah, seems like a fun list overall, though, to try, especially if you're already a fan of Lost Zone. But yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about Sylveon down below. Do you think these lists are indeed crazy? I know, shocking clickbait, but at the end of the day, I do think Sylveon is a wild Pokemon and will likely be very annoying to play against, frankly. I love Ceruledge. I love Ceruledge EX. I had a lot of fun recording that video, but yeah, Sylveon looks to be a right pain in the ass, frankly. But yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think down below. And yeah, thank you for watching.